Hello everyone, my name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about
I got that Venom, not going when I'm never gonna slow up Venom, ready to snap any momentum, thinking it's time to go get 'em. They ain't gonna know what hit 'em when they get beat with the.
Guys, you do not want to do this, trust me.
Giant leaps will always come at a cost.
Now, I am fully aware that the Spider-Man character is solely owned by Sony, and they are just basically loaning the character out to Marvel/Disney. And apparently they're doing something well with the character that Sony could never have done after the Spider-Man trilogy. A lot of people are talking about, hey, Spider-Man might be in the new Venom movie. Hell no, Tom Holland wasn't going to be in the Venom movie, and we all knew this. Two separate things. Sony's doing their thing with their villains because that's all they got. And then MCU's got Spider-Man, so they're good. Now, I wasn't expecting much from this Venom movie. I was thinking it might suck, just like everybody else, just like some people. I went in with extremely low expectations. The only thing that I was expecting from this movie was The only thing that I was expecting from this movie was that I wanted it to be fun. I would say that the performances from every actor in here is one of the highlights because you have great actors like Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, and Riz Ahmed, and each of them bring a good performance to the table. You have Tom Hardy, who's walking around like he hasn't gotten enough sleep in a few days, and Tom Hardy's a very talented actor and he delivered a great performance. You have Michelle Williams, who is pretty much that generic, girlfriend in the superhero movie, but then she does have some character. Then you have Riz Ahmed, who plays one of those generic supervillains, but then he does have some character as well that makes him pretty interesting. I would say the story at the very beginning is one of the highlights of this movie because we see Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams' relationship, and it is a very touching relationship. And then there's something that happens later on that is kind of devastating, and it did break my heart to see what happened between these two. So just those little character moments really, I think, elevated the experience I had with the movie, and getting an intimate, detailed piece of information on the characters was something that was warranted, and I appreciated it. Now, the Riz Ahmed character, Riz Ahmed gave a great performance as the villain. And yes, even though I think his villain goes on the generic route, like if you think about the first Ant-Man movie mixed with a little bit of Thanos, then you have the Riz Ahmed villain. Because Riz Ahmed is a generic villain who is just like, oh, I need to get the symbiote to attach to someone and then do test subjects, and I will torture animals to make me look like a super villain.
34C results negative.
Sanitize the workstation, bring in subject 35C.
But there are moments in this movie where he's talking to kids and he seems very inspirational. There's a scene where he's talking to one of his test subjects, and it seems like he believes in what he's doing. He believes that he's doing the right thing. He believes that he's saving humanity.
If life is left unchecked, life will cease to exist.
And I like that character trait with him because it gave him depth. I really enjoyed the symbiote character. The symbiote, surprisingly enough, is a character in the movie. It's not just, oh, I got a suit and I control it and I do things.
Damn.
No, the symbiote is a character. I love the scenes in this movie where the symbiote is talking to Eddie Brock, the Tom Hardy character. And I thought it was really good. The dynamic between Venom and Eddie Brock was great. The conversations they would have back and forth, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad that they gave the Venom a personality in here. It's a definite plus. I would say the only negative thing for me are the action sequences. I feel like they go on for far too long. The action sequences in this movie do feel overwhelming. Venom, there is no dynamic to these action sequences. It's just run and go. Where you have Tom Hardy, riding this bike, guys are chasing him, cars are rolling around, stuff is crashing, and that's it. All the action scenes in this movie feel overwhelming to me. And during a few action sequences where we see the symbiote interacting with the environment and kind of helping the Eddie Brock character advance and get the upper hand on the villains in certain situations, reminded me of the Spawn movie. That's what it felt like to me, and it was cool. It was pretty cool during some moments, but the action scenes, I just felt overwhelmed by them. Overall, I will give Venom an A-. I actually had fun with this movie, which is all I wanted. I went in with low expectations, just wanting to have fun, and that's what I got. It was a fun movie, even though it did feel like a generic superhero movie where you have your hero, you have your villain, and they fight at the end. Like I said, Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams' relationship in the movie was great. I like how the movie illustrated who Eddie Brock was as a character, and we got to see the ins and outs of his life. And we got to understand who Riz Ahmed was, where his mind was at, where he's coming from, and learning that, it seems like his goals are very noble, but yet he is willing to do horrible things to get to those goals. So I like those little character traits, and Venom had his own personality, which was a plus. But I'm glad they gave these characters little character moments where they can shine. That's where the strength of this movie is, and that's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.
We'll eat both your arms and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off your head. You will be this armless, legless, faceless thing, won't you? Rolling down the street like a turd in the wind.
What the hell are you?